Hi guys, welcome again to Give4. I just wanted to make a quick video just to maybe address a few topics to do with giving and poverty in New Zealand, because it's been amazing. The response we've had has been fantastic. We've had a lot of people sharing our page. You know, we've done our first giveaway, but it's been interesting because we've had a bit of feedback, and I just think it needs to be talked about and just to really discuss why we're doing this and the challenges that we're already facing. I just want to share a quick story with you. I remember hearing this story, and it is a true story because I know the source that it came from. And basically what the story is, and what happened is, it was this young boy's birthday, and for his birthday he got a whole heap of balloons because he just loved balloons. And his dad said to him, "Isn't it great to get these balloons and enjoy them?" And the son was like, "Yeah, it's amazing." And they actually lived just across the road from a rest home. And so his father suggested to him, "Why don't we take your balloons and give them to the old people in the rest home?" And the son was like, oh, but hesitant at first. You know what kids can be like. It's like, no, I'm not sharing my balloons. But eventually he said, yep, let's go. So his dad took him across the road to this rest home, and his son started giving the balloons to the old people. And what happened is, when he gave a balloon to an old person, the old person would turn around and give him a hug. And you know, the little boy just saw the person's face light up, and he suddenly realised and put two and two together that if I give my balloons away, I get something even greater in return. You know, he enjoyed the balloons and the balloons were fun, but he realised when he began to give into somebody else's life, that the difference it made in their lives actually affected how he felt as a child on the inside as well. And I'm pretty sure that's going to be an ongoing memory for him. You know, it's actually been proven now that when we give, it affects our lives in so many ways, you know, health-wise, even our mental health and stuff like that. You know, it releases endorphins in our brains, it lowers blood pressure, it does so many different things health-wise. And they say these causes come about by either giving or doing some kind of volunteer work. So knowing that giving's so good for us, I just kind of wonder why we hesitate. You know, we don't seem to naturally, although in saying that, I do know a lot of natural givers, people that are very generous. And something that I'd just share with you is, since we've been on the road full time, we've got this really new understanding of the word community. You know, I understand community in the sense of, you know, you've got your local, you know, community and you're in the areas you live and stuff like that, and that's great. But one thing with being on the road obviously is that we connect with so many people, and it's just wonderful. And I've realized that, you know, we've got an incredible bunch of friends on the road now, and I've noticed that when one of us is struggling, or one of us might be going through a bit of a tough patch or financially struggling, the rest of them seem to just band together and support that person, you know, at the time. And it just seems to go around, because, you know, in reality in life, we all have our tough times, we all have our really crappy days, and it's just amazing the sense of community that we have found living the life that we do, you know. And this is what part of the inspiration is, for us to make a difference in other people's lives. So I guess my question is, why do we hesitate to give? You know, I'll just say straight up, you know, we've had a bunch of likes on our Give4 page. I don't think any of our posts have been shared as much, which has been great. You know, we've done our first giveaway. It was really exciting. It made a huge difference in Renee's life and the lives that she's affecting. So what stops us from giving? You know, at Give4, as you know, we're just asking for $4. $4 a month is a commitment. And it's interesting that, you know, a lot of people have said, look, you know, this is great what you're doing, but, you know, giving's not for us. So, you know, that's okay, and it's each to their own. You know, we're not here to twist your arm behind your back and say, give us your money. You know, if people are going to give, or we want them to do it because they just purely want to give and make a difference, you know. So just a couple of things. Another thing I'll share is, you know, when I've shared Give4 with some of our family, you know, the response we've had is, well, it's their own silly fault. They've got themselves in that position. They should be making better choices in life. You know, another one we get quite often is, well, people need to learn to budget better. You know, what else is there? You know, people just waste their money on things that they shouldn't be buying. You know, so we've heard all the reasons why not to give. I mean, the reality is, whether we like it or not, there is poverty in New Zealand. And the problem is that the cost of living has far exceeded the average income, or just the basic income, and people cannot afford to keep up. I spoke at a tiny house conference last year, and I remember pulling up the figures to buy a house, and it was insane. And I don't know how the average person will ever be able to just afford a house. It's crazy. But obviously the first problem is cost of living does not match your income. And the other thing too, I've been looking at the research online and just seeing where New Zealand's at. And the reality is as well, even if you are an amazing budgeter, but you're on a low income, you still cannot afford to cover the cost of living. We're fortunate. I make some pretty good money, and our cost of living, I think I've shared, is around, our basic cost of living is about $200 a week in a bus. And so we're in a great position. We can live very comfortably, and we can wake up daily and make some choices, but a lot of people in New Zealand can't do that. A lot of people in New Zealand have got rent to pay or a mortgage they're trying to pay, and if it's not matching up with what they're earning, then it's going to be really, really tough. The reality is not everyone in New Zealand can be a contractor. Not everybody in New Zealand is going to have a high paying job. People I know, and we talk to people that maybe even on benefits, they don't want to be there. They want to have a job. They want to be able to support their family. I don't know many dads who don't. Okay, yes, there's always that handful, and I know what you're all thinking, but on the flip side, it's a minority in reality, because the majority of people we talk to, they feel stress, they feel anxiety, because they're wanting to provide for their family, but they just haven't got the means to do it. I know people have got 2 or 3 jobs trying to support their family because they don't want to be lazy. They don't want to be just, going through life taking a handout. But sadly, what they do for a living doesn't cover the cost of living. I might get into trouble for this one, but here's the reality of it. If the government is building a strong economy in New Zealand, that does not necessarily solve the problem of poverty. They're actually 2 separate issues. We might have a thriving economic system in New Zealand that's just working wonderfully, and the people who are earning money will feel the benefits of that, but that is only a minority of New Zealand. The reality is, if the money is not getting spread around, then it's sitting in one place and somebody's enjoying it, and there's a whole bunch of people who are not. We need to develop, I believe, a real sense of community. I don't want to get political, but I just think in New Zealand, we're doing all these things to make the money for the country, but the money is not getting shared around right. I don't know if you've ever heard of the blue zones, but there's about it's either 5 or 7 places around the world that they refer to as the blue zones, and they're wealthy, the people are living well over 100 years old, they're happy people, and one of the keys is that they've built a sense of community, or developed true community, where they actually, one thing they have in common is they all get together in the evening and prepare a meal together and just put out long tables and share meals. Sadly in New Zealand, we've got high fences and we just want to get on with our lives and be happy, you know what I mean? And yet we could all be a lot happier if we were building that sense of community, if that place of connection, I want to share another story with you, and if you see this and you're the person, you'll know that I'm talking about you. If you see this, please get in touch with us and let us know how you're getting on. But I remember one night we were pulled up to get some water for our bus. It was about 7:30 at night, and the bus was running, and the engine was running just to charge up the batteries a bit, and there was a guy sitting in a ute with a trailer of wood on the back, and he was yelling something out. I couldn't quite hear him over the engine, so I wandered over and said, "Oh, g'day mate, what's going on?" He's going, oh, I love your bus, she's pretty ugly, but I love her. I was like, yeah, we love it too, And he was sitting there, and I'm not going to go into all the details because I don't think it's necessary. You can read between the lines, but he was just not in a great place. He was stressed, and he's like, oh, the wife's been talking about getting a bus. I used to be a high-profile sales rep for a very reputable company. I was making 6 figures. We've got a $650,000 mortgage, and the company went belly up. Here he is, this high-earning, high-flying sales rep, and the company went belly up, and now he's trying to sell firewood on the side of the road to pay his mortgage. One thing that kind of saddens me in the way, and I'm going to say this and just be honest, and you know, I don't want to lose followers on Give4, we want more followers. But time and time again, what we see is that the people that don't have much seem to be the best givers. And the people that have a lot, you know, I think they struggle a bit with giving because, you know, maybe they have a lot because they're holding on tight. You know, and I always find that amazing, that the people that have a lot, and I'm not saying all, because I know a lot of wealthy, insanely generous giving people. But sadly, the majority that we talk to, they go, look, you're doing such a great work, but it's not for me, you know. And then we rock on up and somebody who's like living on the bones of their butt basically are like, oh, where do I sign up, you know. And it's just amazing. And is it because you know, it's that old thing of, you know, when you've got the flu and everybody else doesn't have the flu and you're feeling miserable, but because nobody else has the flu, even though they've had the flu in the past, they've forgotten what it's like to feel so miserable, and they're like, oh, come on, pull yourself together, get over it. And then they get the flu and suddenly they're feeling, oh, just leave me alone, I feel miserable, you know. And I just wonder if it's because the people that do not have understand what it's like to go without, or understand what it's like to be in that position, and so they're very quick to step up and help other people. Please just be encouraged. You know, we're getting a following on Give4, and our first giveaway was so much fun. We just all came back really buzzing about what had happened and how it had changed, you know, or help Renee out with what she's doing and how it's going to change other people's lives. We're coming up, we've got a month now till our next giveaway. You know, my encouragement is, if you've liked our page and you're following us and you like what we're doing, I'm just asking $4 a month. That's it, less than a cup of coffee from a coffee shop. And you know, it's the numbers. You know, the more that we can have giving $4, the more effect we can have in different people's lives, you know. And we just want to build that real sense of community. We want you to be a part of what's happening. We're going to continue to share what we're doing. You know, just we'd love you to be on board, and let's make a real change.